from London, wrestling fans. I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you are listening to Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, your one-stop shop for professional wrestling insight, news, and reviews on a daily basis. It is Friday, June 28th, 2024, and we are just 48 hours away from AEW and New Japan and CMLL's and Stardom this year as well. Forbidden Door pay-per-view. It's going to be a fun one. It is an absolutely stacked card. And by that, I mean there's literally like matches stacking on top of each other because there's like 2 billion of them. It's going to be a hectic 47 minutes, but it's going to be a really, really fun one. And of course, for a fun show, I need a fun panel. And let's kick things off with the head of reviewing, Coby Galenzoski. How are you, Coby?
What's going on? We got SmackDown in the Madison Square Garden tonight as well, but we also have Forbidden Door this weekend, and I'm excited, of course, because there is a loaded card, and there should be a lot of really good wrestling, and of course, that's one of the reasons why we watch wrestling, is because of the great wrestling matches we can watch. And AEW normally does very well with it, and it should be no exception this weekend.
Exactly. I mean, it's kind of that vicious cycle that AEW are in, where we complain about their product for weeks, then it comes to a pay-per-view, and then we were like, that pay-per-view was amazing, and then the cycle continues, and it's like, yeah, up and down, up and down, up and down. Hopefully it'll be good this week. But also joining us, we have the head of opinions, Anthony Ricciardi. How are you, Anthony?
I'm doing all right. Like Coby said, we got SmackDown on MSG tonight, which should be an unbelievable show in theory because it's the home.
Yeah.
And it's an exciting weekend when anytime you have a wrestling pay-per-view this weekend. And like you said, there's a lot of matches on this card. I think it's a couple matches short of how many titles AEW has in the company, but the matches should be great, even though the storytelling has not been phenomenal. But we're going to get into all that. So let's get into it.
Absolutely. And last but certainly not least, we have the Tuesday Night Delight on a Friday. How are you today, Shad?
Sorry, bro. I'm a sicko today because I'm excited to talk about AEW Forbidden Door. My man Tony Khan, that's what he calls us. Hey, bro, I got my tissue paper somewhere. You know what I'm saying? We good over here, but I'm good over here, man. I'm excited for a jam-packed wrestling weekend in New York. They got everything going on over there, huh?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think you could have a worse name for a fan base than Sickos, but I mean, fair enough, TK. Keep it going, I guess. We do have a couple of comments here. We have Josh Markowitz. Shout out, Josh. I hope you're doing well. And we also have Saul saying that he's got something to announce on Wednesday. That is going to be exciting for sure. Let's get into Forbidden Door, though.
Soli Khan, huh?
I need to do an important announcement graphic again, eh? But yeah, it's certainly going to be an exciting show next Wednesday, but it's certainly an exciting Forbidden Door this weekend. And let's kick things off by talking about the AEW Championship match, Will Ospreay versus Swerve Strickland. Everybody is divided on this one, but I said from the start that I thought Swerve was going to retain, and I'm going to stick to my guns on it. I think Swerve is going to walk out still the AEW champion, or at least I hope that's the case. But what do you think, Shad?
Yeah, so I briefly mentioned it yesterday on the AEW Dynamite review show that me and Anthony do for Throwback Thursday. I think they have course corrected a lot of Swerve's booking these last few weeks, especially these last 2 weeks. And there's two telling things that we have to, visibly see going on to the storyline. Last week on AEW Dynamite, Will Ospreay said that he doesn't need the Callis family to, be the champion, to run through opponents, this, that, and the third. That's one strike, right? You ruffled some feathers over there. And then the second thing is just, I feel Will Ospreay is just over amped for everything. He's just, opening every door that he can and welcoming every sort of competition. And I think he is kind of underestimating the competitor and the deviant heel that Swerve is. I think Swerve is sticking to his guns, going back to his heel tendencies, and reminding us this is the Swerve that we as wrestling fans enjoy. You know, the guy who went into uh, blood feud with Nick Wayne, uh, crazy blood feud with Adam Hangman Page. You know, he can get ticked to that level and do anything by any means necessary to retain what he wants, and I do think he is going to retain his title on Sunday against Will Ospreay. It will be a well wrestled match. It may be a another Will Ospreay 5-star match of the year contender, but I think the telling portion is going to be the Callis family. I feel like that statement he made is going to bite him, and I think Don Callis is going to figure a way back out there to have Ospreay lose this match with Swerve. It may be a case where he might do a deal with the devil. Maybe the Callis family is working with Swerve. You know, maybe he's working behind Nana's back and working with Don Callis to get revenge on that. I'm not sure, but I just always go back to that line and feel like it's going to come back and bite Ospreay. And Swerve deserves to have a longer reign. And I think Swerve should be a champion as a heel. I think that's where he's best suited. The fans enjoyed heel Swerve. We don't need this fake babyface stuff that he was doing prior to it. Stick to the guns. Get back to the character and the champion that we like. But I got Swerve retaining.
Well said indeed. Yeah, I completely and utterly agree. It's very obvious, and it's been obvious from the start to me that the Don Callis family would get involved. I'm going to be honest, as we've gotten a little bit closer to the match, as I said this past Wednesday, I'm getting a little bit anxious that maybe they are going to just give it to Ospreay, but hopefully that won't be the case because I agree. Let's see Swerve as a heel, as champion. That would be epic. But Anthony, I want to hear your thoughts. Ospreay, Swerve, who's going to be walking out with the AEW gold?
Typically on Thursdays, as like Shad said, we cover this. The booking on Swerve as a whole, he didn't feel like he was being booked to his true potential. His true character that really got over, like Shad said, was his heel. The heel version of him is what's compelling, almost like a final boss Rock. Like that's his best work is as a heel. And I think that's what the audience really truly wanted. I think AEW did the same thing with MJF. He was so over as a heel, they're like, we got to make him a face because people are cheering him. He could be a heel that the fans love. And I think that's okay. And I think that's the smart play. That's the sweet spot. Because you don't want Swerve to be looked as a chump or a transitional champion. I don't know if he's going to be a long-term champion because the writing does seem to be on the wall that at some point, Ospreay's probably getting that title. I don't know if it's from Swerve, but in my personal opinion, Swerve is definitely retaining on Sunday. I think Don Callis family, whatever's left of that group, I don't even know. There's really not much left. They're going to cost them, probably. Either that or perhaps MJF, because they sort of teased that direction. There's a number of things they could be doing with this, but I think ultimately Swerve goes over. It'll be a great match. But long term, I don't know where they're going to go booking wise with Swerve. I think you need to continue him as a heel, though. If you're going to do it, I think he needs to be heel Swerve to really make it work.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you definitely, switched it up from a couple of weeks ago where you were certain Ospreay was going to be that guy to dethrone him.
I wasn't confident that it was going to be at Forbidden Door, but I kind of felt that like perhaps All In, like it seemed to me that like Tony was very much pushing Ospreay. When you're putting out that kind of money for a talent, you're going to push him. Obviously, everyone that all the three free agents that he signed all have belts. So
it's true,
so would he want to make him a world champion? Maybe. But do you also want a world champion that's not there every week? I mean, it worked with Roman, but Roman had an aura around him. Ospreay has an aura, but I don't know if he has enough to carry it with him not being there every week.
That's true. That's very true. I mean, it also worked for MJF. He wasn't there every week as well when he was champion. But I do agree with you. It's way too early, and I think Ospreay is going to be a phenomenal AEW champion when he does get that belt. But it's too early. Now is Swerve's time, and I agree with both you and Shad. A heel turn, it needs to happen. But, Coby, do you agree with this? Or, do you reckon they should do a shock title change?
So there's a lot of things that I want to think about, and obviously we're looking at this. We've seen the year of Swerve where he went from having that heel run where he targeted Nick Wayne, he targeted all these people, had his moments with, of course, with Sting, with Hangman. We know the heel this man is capable of, and I don't want to say what we're seeing, and especially the last 2-3 months is a shell of his former self. It almost is. They were between a rock and a hard place. They had to turn this guy face because he was one of the most over guys in the company. And now we are in such a weird position because now I don't want to say I feel like the aura has left Swerve a bit, but I don't feel like 6 months ago I felt a lot more confident that this is a main eventer. This is a guy that can carry the company. The Swerve we've gotten the last month and a half since he won the title. It's just yes, they do view him as the face of the brand. They're giving him the countdowns. They're giving him all the pomp and circumstance and importance, but I still don't. It's not clicking at this point. Would I be mad if Will Ospreay won the title? No, I would not. Will Ospreay winning the title allows us to have not a hardcore reset, but it would be a minor reset for Swerve Strickland because we know the path he should be on, and that's as a dastardly heel. And if the direction is taking that title away from him, so he has a purpose, he has a reason to climb that mountain again as a heel, I would not be opposed to that. Do I think that's the direction they're going? No, I don't. I do think Swerve Strickland's going to win this. Like we've said, it is his time. This is his championship reign right now. I don't necessarily think it's too early. I'd be more worried about Ospreay just having 2 titles at this point. I don't think it's too early for Will Ospreay to be world champion because he is that damn good at his job. He is a top guy. He deserves it. And I wouldn't say, like I said, not too early, but he has 2 titles where it's like they're in that weird position with that entirely. Yeah, we have the MJF tease, and I think that's the money match right now. MJF, I'm more interested in MJF and Ospreay than MJF and Swerve. Those are 2 matches that should be the money matches this year or next year, but I'm more interested in MJF and Ospreay. But I do think Swerve wins this match.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Swerve versus MJF or Ospreay versus MJF. I'd love to see them both, if I'm being completely honest.
Well, exactly. But
yeah.
but that's the thing. If we are to believe Swerve is this top guy, is going to be a main event player for the next 5-10 years, that is a feud you can't waste MJF and Swerve.
Yeah.
Because that is a defining feud for Swerve. We've already had defining feuds with MJF, and he's already a made man at this point. But
it's
the booking
though so far. Like it's
the booking.
They haven't given. Like I don't understand the reason, and I said it yesterday too. Like why are you're booking yourself in a corner when you already tease Ospreay and MJF? Or Ospreay and Swerve or whatever it may be. None of these dudes should be losing right now. Like those are your we said it yesterday. Those are the I know the pillar thing is a big thing, but like those are the monuments right now at the moment with an edge, star power, quality matches, storylines, all of that. Like, and you can add Hangman Adam Page to it when he returns. But like those 3, it's really difficult for me to see them going against each other this early, especially, and it goes back to these titles. Like Ospreay's title is a title, but like nobody really care about that title at all, to be honest with you.
It's not a smart move to tease the MJF aspect to it unless you're using that as the out so that Ospreay doesn't win the title off of Swerve and he's going off track to face MJF. That's the only reason you do that. If he's costing him the title, that would make sense. But if you're just teasing it for a matchup down the road and he doesn't get involved, why even bother teasing it? Like it needs to serve a purpose.
That was my worry. It's going to be interesting to see how this one goes, but we all agree Swerve should and hopefully will win the belt. David Marge agrees. He's saying that Don Callis is going to get involved during Forbidden Door. I mean, he certainly likely will. But now let's move on to talk about the other side of the Forbidden Door, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Jon Moxley, the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, he's taking on the former champion Tetsuya Naito. Shad, I want to get your thoughts on this. Who do you see walking out with the top belt in New Japan?
Well, let me just give myself a pat on the back because when Moxley did win that IWGP belt, I did say I think he's gonna come out on top and win it. And Tony Khan mentioned it yesterday in the presser. Jon Moxley has done some of the most like iconic things within being a former WWE champ, former AEW champ, and also an IWGP champ, and that's something to tip your hat off to because he's one of the more like it feels weird. It's weird to say. I feel like Moxley is an underrated, underappreciated professional wrestler on the landscape. Maybe history, maybe not now, but just in general. But you can argue that. But that's neither here or there. I'm excited for this match because it does have a big element to the Forbidden Door aspect to it, with it being an AEW competitor, a top guy in AEW versus a top guy in New Japan, and it's for a belt that's tied to the other company, and it's one of those cases where, um, do you think Moxley retains it? Is it good for New Japan? You know, we got the tournament coming up as well. Like, is he going to be a consistent player and part of it? And he could be because Moxley is a guy who breathes professional wrestling. He loves and has a big respect for New Japan, but I find it hard for him to retain. And with that being said, I do have Naito winning, and I think that would be a big, benefit for New Japan because when you do these cards, your fear is like, okay, yeah, we'll work with y'all, but like we can't have our guys lose to y'all, right? Like we're AEW, we're the known product. Us doing the card with you is just enough. But in this situation, it'd be beneficial for a New Japan talent to get a victory over Moxley while we have American fans watching this because it's like, oh, wow, this dude beat Mox. And I know a lot of people know Naito. I know he's a very renowned wrestler internationally. But, like, let's be real. Like, not all AEW fans are that familiar with New Japan. So it is a case where it opens your eyes a little bit and it'd be benefit. And that's quite a moment, winning the title, winning y'all's title back and bringing it back home on American soil. Like, I feel like that would be a big time thing. So I got Naito winning. And I think that's fair to New Japan, and I think it's good for him to get the belt back, and they can run what they need to do. Um, Mox taking a loss. He's kind of Teflon in the sense he's a vet. He's been doing it for a while. I don't think it's gonna hurt him too much, and I think he's kind of a guy who he got his moment over there. He'll give his moment back to them over here. So I got Mox losing, and I got Naito winning.
I think that what you said makes a lot of sense. It really, really does. But here's the thing. I don't think AEW are going to want Moxley to lose in America. They've made a big deal out of this long undefeated streak he's been on. I'm disagreeing with you on this one. I think Jon Moxley is going to retain. And Naito's also said to Moxley that, hey, if you beat me, you can go to the G1. Well, who knows if that'll actually happen, but maybe it will. Maybe Moxley wants to do yet another G1 tournament. He said he loved it last time, but it could go either way, and that is very, very fun to think about. Very quickly, Coby, I'll start with you. Do you have Mox or Naito?
I do think Naito should win this. He deserves it.
What about you, Anthony?
I think the same thing. Naito should win it. Moxley doesn't need the belt, but New Japan doesn't have anybody else to put the belt on, so Naito obviously makes the most sense.
No, that does make a lot of sense. I still think it could be the young boy Shooter, but I mean, a lot of people do disagree with me on that one, but what not a lot of people do disagree with me on, well, is my love for Next Level, and you guys will love it too if you use it. Now, if you guys don't know what Next Level is. Basically, they've taken all our social media links across all platforms. They've all chucked them in one place for you guys. All our content across all our social media platforms, one place, and that place is nxconnect.me/Wrestling Republic to see all our content across all platforms linked all in one place. Plus, they have an app. What's so special about their app? Well, it's got a special section on it just for wrestling content creators. It's like Instagram, Twitter, all of these merged into one, and just for wrestling, right? You download Next Level, you go onto the app, and you download the wrestling app from within the app. It's completely free, and it's very, very fun indeed. So once again, nxconnect.me/Wrestling Republic to see all our content across all platforms linked, all in one place. But next, let's move on to talk about Mercedes Moné, because let's face it, she's cost AEW a lot of money, but will it pay off for them as she takes on Stephanie Vaquer? Now, the interesting thing about this is it's not just for the TBS Championship, but it's also for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship, which was the championship which Mercedes Moné, of course, lost to Willow. But now she's got a chance to win it back. She's got a chance to become a double champion. And Coby, I want to know who you see walking out the winner when these two face off on Sunday.
I think there's the basic storyline what we're getting here. Mercedes Moné had to get a redemption against Willow Nightingale. Of course, that was her last match last year, and then she finally came back. She returned to the ring against Willow as well. This is the title she never got the chance to win. She got injured, and that's about it. I don't want to say this belt was made for her, but it's made for her at this point. Like, the writing's on the wall. Where I see Moxley or Naito winning this match, there is a 0.000% chance Stephanie Vaquer wins this match. It's title for title. I do not see Mercedes Moné dropping the TBS championship, and there's no way Stephanie would win both titles at this point. It's a match that did happen last year as well. Vaquer was the one that Moné beat in the kind of 4-person bracket at a strong event last year, but Vaquer's not going to get this win back. Like we said, there's 3 free agents that have world titles that got a lot of money. Mercedes is definitely one of them at this point, and there is no way she's not getting both belts at this point. She's in her belt collector era at this point.
Yeah, I do agree with you, Coby. I can't see a situation, anywhere in the world where Stephanie
unless she gets hurt again.
This match.
I don't wish that upon anyone, but if she gets hurt again and they have to call an audible, maybe.
But... Oh, that would be awful. Just every time
it'd be exactly. It'd be awful.
Oh, it'd be cursed. You'd have to be like, yeah, well, you can't compete for any more New Japan titles, Mercedes. You're clearly allergic to them. But hopefully that does not happen, right? But Anthony, who do you have in this one?
There's too much money involved. Monet's winning. Okay. And if Coby's thing happens where she does get injured, that would probably ruin the New Japan relationship because they'll somehow blame New Japan for this.
What about you, Shad?
CEO. I got Mercedes Moné as she is etching herself potentially as Women's Wrestler of the Year. This is going to be a banger match, though. Stephanie Vaquer is really, really good, and I'm super excited for it. But I got Moné taking it.
Honestly,
it's the only be a fun one.
Honestly, it's the only match on the card where I feel like they've properly built up an opponent from outside New Japan with promo videos. Like, I don't know why they weren't doing it for all of them.
Yeah. I disagree on one thing, and I'd say Mina Tony, but we'll get into that later on, and my absolute love for that match. But before we do, let's talk about the TNT Championship. Obviously, right now it's vacant. There's no champion. Adam Copeland jumped from the cage, and it all went very, very wrong. But we do have a ladder match, right? And there's still one more person to be added, and that happens on Rampage. We won't say what happens. You guys will have to go and watch it for yourselves, or just look it up. But so far, it is Dante Martin versus Mark Briscoe versus Takeshita versus Jack Perry versus Leo Rush. Anthony, who do you see walking out as the new TNT champion?
Honestly, it is kind of funny when you're talking about Cursed Championship. The TNT one's probably pretty up there as far as injuries go. It is kind of funny that you're crowning a new champion in a ladder match when the last champion got injured from jumping off the top of a cage. Realistically, it's Jack Perry's. I can't imagine anybody else is going to walk away with this. If you want to continue to build the elite storyline, which I've said before and I'm going to be writing about it, I don't think they've done a good job with this story. I think it was a solid story that they completely went off the rails. But having Jack Perry take the TNT title is the logical move. Who he ends up facing after it, though, I have no idea, because I don't know who you're really going to put him up against. Because you need somebody, a baby face, to really kind of go up against them. And you can't do MJF because it's kind of beneath MJF at this point. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with this, but Jack Perry is the logical choice.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, Anthony. I truly do. It's one of those ones where, like, yes, it's a ladder match, and usually ladder matches are quite unpredictable, but this might be the most predictable ladder match in quite some time. I agree. Jack Perry, he has to win. It's the only logical choice. They've been building him up, and he's the only one who's really been built up going into this match, right? This match has basically been all about him from the second it was announced. It was announced as a way to get back at the Elite, get back at him.
It really is kind of odd, just the whole story of him being called the scapegoat, when shouldn't he be mad at all management? Like, it doesn't make any sense on any of that, but what else is new?
Well, let's hope there's no real glass in this ladder match. But
that's the only one that could beat him in this match.
Real glass, just glass pane just comes down and somebody climbs up with it and it grabs it. But Coby, who do you have?
The other option would be to Konosuke Takeshita, but he's working the G1, so I don't see him winning at this point, because then you have a champion not on your show for your road to All In, because it should be viewed as how we view the road to WrestleMania at this point. It is Jack Perry's match, but I mean, you know what else is? You said it would be beneath him. MJF's in a feud with Daniel Garcia, and I love Daniel Garcia, but he's in a feud with Daniel Garcia. So this is not
Don't
below
get me started on that.
If I had to give a face and I don't know his status, Darby Allin.
Listen, Coby, I literally said that yesterday. I'm going, why is Ospreay and MJF fighting for the right to challenge Garcia? No, don't get me. That's big. None of that makes sense.
Wait a second. Sorry, Coby, did you just predict Darby Allin? Or am I hearing things?
I said Darby Allin for Jack Perry, first feud.
Oh, okay.
Like
so
that,
sorry. So
that
Jack
would be a face
Perry
for
is
him.
still your prediction. Okay, I was worried then. I was like, hang on a second. Is there a wild card? Is there a Joker, as they call it?
Yeah. Hey, Austin Theory got announced 2 years ago for Money in the Bank. Of course, let's get that raise for.
Hey, listen, could they just lower Darby from the ceiling? Because we haven't seen him since he was hung up during Stadium Stampede. They could just lower him onto the ladder.
Oh, that would be comedy. What about you, Shad?
Most dominant faction in AEW, man. The new Elite. They all gonna have gold at the end of the day. And I got Jack Perry also winning. I think the moment will be great. Just how everything's running. But yeah, I got Jungle Boy, well, formerly known as Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, winning the title.
We have Ardafsta in the chat saying Sammy Guevara for the last TNT ladder spot. He reckons Sammy Guevara could win. That is a wild shout, and perhaps that's maybe possible.
Sammy been gone for a while, man.
Yes, he has been. I mean, they're also so big, you forget how long people have been gone for. But you are right. He has been gone for quite some time. But now we are going to run through the rest of the card. We're going to try and get through it quickly because, I mean, to just put it bluntly, there's a lot of matches. Let's start off with the match, which, I mean, there's no build. Well, there is a little, but, I mean, all it was is bad commentary. That's the build for it. But a match which in ring, I think, will deliver, and that's Orange Cassidy versus Zack Sabre Jr. I'm predicting OC. What about you, Anthony?
I'm going to go OC with this. I just don't see him losing.
What about you, Coby?
I mean, it's the same thing. There's no way Orange Cassidy loses this match. We know Tony Khan loves his orange juice at this point, but I mean, Zack Sabre Jr. is going to be. He's never going to have a win at this Forbidden Door pay-per-view series.
I have Orange Bullock losing to Zack Sabre Jr. on Sunday. I got ZSJ winning this Sunday.
I love that attitude. That's what I want. Right? I want Zack Sabre Jr. to win. I won't go back on my pick, but I hope Zack Sabre Jr. does win and he brings it home because the football teams certainly don't look like they're going to be. But up next, we have a match which I'm super hyped for, and that is Danielson versus Shingo. It's just an Owen Hart Cup match, and because of that, I do think it's quite obvious. But, Shad, I'll go straight to you. Who do you reckon's winning?
Yeah, that match. That's another dark horse match of the night. Just based off of in ring. I saw Shingo wrestle last week, and that man is something different. So it's gonna be hard hitting. But yeah, I got Danielson winning. It's the Owen. I think we're kind of getting to. I think Danielson may go far in this tournament, maybe win it. Who knows? But I got him winning for sure.
I definitely see that as a possibility. But what about you, Coby?
Yeah, Danielson's winning. Shingo's not beating him at this point. I'm a big fan of both of them. It should be a really good match, but it's Danielson's story to win the Owen and go get his match at All In for the world title once more.
What about you, Anthony? Any wild cards here? Or you agree?
No, I mean it's Danielson unless an injury takes place. It should be a solid match. I mean that's with any match, but like seriously, like I think anyone could see looking at this card going, yeah, New Japan has no shot here.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolute thrashing. But now we're moving on to Scissor Ace versus the Elite. To me, it's obvious the Elite are winning. What about you, Anthony?
Elite. I mean, they trot out Tanahashi because New Japan has nobody at this point. They're like, we'll throw him in there and do Scissor Ace because that's fun and it'll make a great T-shirt. So, but yes, it's the Elite.
What about you, Coby?
I mean, I almost got put to sleep as you were talking about this match. It's the Elite at this point. They need the victory, like we said at Stadium Stampede. They needed it then. They need it now. They need to be a dominant force, and that's not. There's no way they're a dominant force if they're losing to President Tanahashi and the Acclaimed.
President Tanahashi. Shad, I'm gonna do a wild guess here and presume you're going with the Elite as well.
Yeah, I'm going with the Elite. It doesn't make sense for them to lose this match, so I'm gonna go with them.
It truly doesn't. But we then have Willow and Tam Nakano against Statlander and Watanabe. I think this could be a sleeper. I believe it is on the kickoff show for them.
0 hour, yeah.
0 hour, yeah. I'm hyped for it, though. I truly, truly am. Although I do reckon there'll be some heel antics and Stat will win, I reckon. But what about you, Shad?
Man, I'm excited for this match. I like Stardom, and I like both women that are also tied to it. I got Statlander and Watanabe winning as well. I think they got that match on Wednesday between Willow and Stat, and I think Willow will win that. So I think for that purpose, I think it makes sense for Stat and Watanabe to get the win.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I do agree with that. But Coby, do you?
Just have to look at the Owen Hart bracket, and I know what's going to happen because Chris Statlander is going to win the tag match, and Willow Nightingale is going to win on Wednesday.
Yeah,
there we are, Anthony.
Next week.
Yeah, it's Stat. It's on the kickoff show. If you're going to give Willow a win over Stat, beat it on a major stage, not a zero buy-in or whatever they're calling it these days.
Yeah, that's true.
The fans enjoy that match though, because Tam Nakano is nice.
Oh no, it is.
She's
but
awesome.
She's nice.
That'd be good.
She is awesome. But we have a comment here, and I'm actually trying to think. Art After saying CMLL and AAA working together on this pay-per-view is just wild. AAA aren't involved, are they?
No.
Nope.
Am I missing something? No.
I think
technically you can say Pentagon Jr. represents AAA, but he doesn't because he's signed to New. to AEW.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
Pentagon's
he's
wrestled
this
for
card,
AAA
yeah.
recently.
Yeah. I think they wanted them. I think they wanted them involved, but officially,
Vikingo's gone. There's no Vikingo to book, so there's not really anyone else.
I doubt they would have anyway. I doubt they would have gotten a proper AAA talent because, to your point, CMLL and AAA working together, well, that's never happening. But we are seeing, well, we need to come back to that match. We're going to see MJF versus Hechicero, which I'm very excited for. But I'm going to take a wild guess and say we all agree MJF is going to win, right? Yeah.
Stevie Wonder could see that MJF is winning this.
But again, Dark Horse, like in ring wise, that match kind of could go crazy. Hechicero's nice.
It is. It'll be a fun match, but it's just so predictable. But moving on, we got Jericho. Well, I don't think there's everyone this predictable. Jericho, Big Bill, and somebody else versus Samoa Joe, Huck, and Shibata. I mean, I'm guessing the faces are going to win. What about you, Shad?
It really depends who the third person is going to be, to be honest with you. Like, if it's a big time person that comes in, I can see them winning, but I feel like it's just going to be somebody from one of these Forbidden Doors that will probably be the fall guy. I got Joe and company winning for sure. I think there's some shelf life with that faction. I like that team a lot, actually.
Absolutely. What about you, Anthony?
A bathroom break. No, but seriously, I'm gonna go Learning Tree, and for the heck of it, I'm gonna say Sammy Guevara is gonna join Jericho again for the third stable and go nowhere.
Well, that would be certainly something to complain about. What about you, Coby?
To be fair, I would love the discourse if the Learning Tree does win this match, but I don't see them winning this match. I do see Joe is very much helping both Shibata and Hook, and I like the fact that Joe is actually in something meaningful and is being used. And we saw what he had a short but very effective world title reign, and now he's still being an effective member of the roster by helping Hook, by helping Katsuyori Shibata, and they should be the win. They should get the win because they should be Trios champion this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up, we have a Trios match with Tsuji, Titan, and Hiromu Takahashi against Mystico and the Lucha Bros. This should be a banger. Mystico and the Lucha Bros is my prediction, but what about you, Anthony?
Same, Ben. I mean, Mystico and the Lucha Brothers is the logical because, for the most part, they're the only ones I know in this match.
Oh, the other three are absolutely awesome. But Shad, what about you?
Yes.
Yeah, I got the Lucha Bros and Mystico winning, and I'm excited to see them work this match too. So it should be fun.
Absolutely. What about you, Coby?
I mean, I'd like to say Los Ingobernables de Japón have a chance in this match, but no, Mystico and the Lucha Brothers are the stars of this match, and that's why they're gonna win.
Do you know, I think there's a possibility this one does go the other way just to give New Japan a win and say, well, you know, one
I'd like it.
faction
That's
one
the
isn't.
one they give them.
Please, it should be.
Maybe that's what it is. But the final one we need to talk about, Mariah May and Saraya. This is a little bit unpredictable, but what about you, Coby?
I think I don't want to say they're 1-1 in the last few months, but because I know Saraya got the win a few weeks ago. Obviously, we love 50-50 booking. Mariah May's going to win this. We know the story about her and the Owen and her and Tony is going to be a highlight for the next few months. And Mariah May's been so good the last 8 months she's been in the company.
Absolutely. What about you, Shad?
Look, man, I said it yesterday, bro. Mariah May is arguably their best free agent pickup this year.
Last year.
Last year. I mean, my bad, the end of last year. But during that crop of free agents, she's knocking it out the park, and I think she is going to win, and I think she's going to win the Owen.
Wow, I hope you guys are right, because us Arsenal fans need to stick together. Big up Mariah May. Anthony, what about you?
I think it's Mariah May. I mean, quite frankly, the shine has gone off of Saraya as the new toy that Tony Khan wants to push. He's not interested in anymore. So it's going to be Mariah May. That's the new flavor this week.
Yeah, I do.
The better flavor too.
Oh, No, indeed. But now let's talk about the match which I'm the most excited. Maybe not. The match which I think is the best build, I should say, for this pay-per-view. Toni Storm, Mina Shirakawa. I think they have built, and I'm so sorry. I have botched. I spelled Mina Shirakawa's name wrong on the graphic there, so I do apologize, Mina. I only just noticed that, but I am hyped for this match because they have built it so well. But ultimately, it is very predictable in my eyes. But Coby, could you see an upset?
I mean, like you said, we are in a weird position because they do always deliver their pay-per-views, but a lot of their matches are very, very predictable. There's only two matches we can say that might be a coin flip of who wins, and then this is not one of them. I mean, I like the story they're telling with the whole double relationship. We have Toni with the relationship with Mariah May, and then we have Mina with the past with Mariah as well. I've enjoyed it. I think they did well with the champagne bottle on Wednesday. Of course, I don't know. I don't know what happens because they are I think it's a fun idea to have someone corner both women or both people in both sides of the match. We never really have had that type of angle. I hope there's not too many smoke and mirrors. Just, we're going to work with the gimmicks, work with the kind of the hokey entertainment aspect of what wrestling can be at this point. I hope this can compete with Toni Storm versus Thunder Rosa from this year's Dynasty for one of the top women's matches of the year of wrestling, or not, of AEW. But Toni Storm is going to win this match. She's not going to lose it. And to be fair, Saraya is probably facing Mercedes Moné, and I'm going to laugh if it happens. Because it's that year, it's that time of the year, and they're going to London. That's probably the direction they're going. Right. Saraya loses and then goes for Moné because they have no one else for Moné.
Moné! What about you, Anthony?
I think Coby's right. I mean, like you said about it being the matches are predictable. We've covered every match on this card, and outside of like one or two, we've agreed on every single one of them. That's how predictable we think this thing is. Tony's going over because I do think they're going Toni and Mariah at All In because that's what Tony does. Tony Khan. That's how he books. He's going to go Toni Storm and Mariah, and like Coby said, probably Saraya and Moné. That's probably where this is going. But Mariah's going to have to choose between Toni and Mina, and probably is going to choose Toni and then regret it, and then they'll lead to the match.
I think I love this story they're telling. I think they've told it so well. Yes, it's predictable, but it's just been so enjoyable that I haven't really cared that much about how predictable it is. And that's hard to pull off. Now, you could have maybe spent some of that time making this match a bit more unpredictable, but hey, Forbidden Door, it's a little hard to do. That's one of the issues with doing a pay-per-view like this. But hey, hopefully it will be fun. But Shad, I want to get your thoughts. Mina, could she do the upset of the year?
Everybody wants Mina. Mina Shirakawa. I am beyond excited for this match because, to your point, Ben, I think this has been the best built feud in AEW these last few months, and definitely for this card. I said it yesterday. Mariah May is the glue that has made this work, and she is the reason Toni Storm as a character has elevated. You know, she's brought more seriousness to the character, and as funny and silly this is, it's a well-put story, and you can't have this story without Mariah May because they're part of Club Venus. She has the connection to Mina. I love it, man. I love the story of, you know, it's more than a belt. It's about an individual. It's about friendship, sisterhood, love, whatever you want to call it. And I think that's the beauty of it. And yes, it's telegraphed. We know who's going to win. You know, Toni Storm is the AEW Women's Champion. But sometimes things that are telegraphed doesn't mean it's bad. And I think as a fan and off of entertainment aspect for it, I think we are here to enjoy the moment and enjoy everything that's going to happen on Sunday, whether it's, you know, Mariah turns on Mina or maybe Mariah turns on Toni. I'm kind of leaning a little bit of deception between Tony and Mariah going in on Sunday. But I do have Tony Storm retaining. But we have to give Mina Shirakawa her flowers too. I don't think there is a better Forbidden Door opponent that has utilized her TV time and sold us a ticket to want to watch a match. And if she's got the superstar written all over her, man, and I would love to see her be more of a individual that is part of AEW television for the foreseeable future because she fits just like a glove, man. She's amazing. But with that being said, I got Timeless Tony Storm retaining.
Yeah, absolutely. It is predictable, but I also agree with you, right? That if I was AEW or WWE, the second her contract is up, I'd be, doing everything I can to get Mina Shirakawa. I'd be using every contact I have to try and bring her in because she's just got it, right? That it, which is
Yeah.
difficult to describe, where she's charismatic. She has
So
it. She's got the look.
it's so like the thing is this, it's so different from so many other Joshis that
Yeah.
touch American television, right? And like I haven't seen charisma fit the mold since maybe like Asuka. And but
Yeah.
she's so different. She's got like
Yeah.
that like diva-esque character to her and then like the dancing. She's so fun, man. And I think that could work on any promotion. Like she's like
Yeah.
if she was on NXT, my goodness, I would be so happy with
Moment of the
the
week every week. But
yeah, man.
but guys, that does bring us to the end of the prediction show. It's been very, very fun. Thank you to Shad, thank you to Anthony, and thank you to Coby for joining me here today. I'll be back tomorrow morning for Allison Analysis reviewing SmackDown in MSG, and then tomorrow night WR Daily will be breaking down and taking apart tonight's episode of SmackDown, so make sure to tune in for that as well. Normal time, 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. Thank you all for watching. Over on Instagram, Ardaf is saying that Tony will take the win and Mariah May will turn on Tony after the match. That's something to keep an eye on. But we will see you guys tomorrow